The screen door slammed like a gunshot in the sticky July heat of rural Ohio, and Liam Harper's world shattered with it. "You're not a real man. Boy, never were. Never will be." His father's voice boomed from the porch, thick with bourbon and decades of unspoken rage, each word a hammer blow to Liam's chest. He stood frozen in the driveway, gravel crunching under his sneakers, the taste of blood sharp on his lip from where he'd bitten it to keep from screaming back. Liam bolted down the cracked asphalt of Elm Street, heart pounding like a bass drum in his ribs, the summer sun baking his skin until it felt like it might split open. At 22, he was supposed to be building a life. Maybe that entry-level gig at the auto parts store in Dayton would turn into something real, but instead, he was running from the ghost of a father who'd raised him on football dreams and toughen-up sermons. The Harper house, with its peeling white siding and the American flag limp on the pole, shrank in the rear view of his mind as he veered toward the old creek that snaked behind the high school football field. It was his spot, always had been. A tangle of willows dipping into the murky water, where he'd skip stones as a kid to drown out the echoes of his parents' fights. He collapsed against a gnarled trunk, knees drawn up, and let the sobs come raw, ugly things that clawed their way out like they'd been caged too long. It wasn't just tonight's blow-up, though that had been a doozy. Dad had found the crumpled pride sticker in Liam's glove compartment, the one he'd shoved in there after that disastrous weekend in Columbus last spring. "What the hell is this?" Dad had roared, waving it like a red flag at a bull. Liam had stammered something about a buddy's joke, but the lie crumbled under those steel-blue eyes, the same ones that had stared down linebackers on Friday nights back when Dad coached the Tigers to state semis. "You're twisted, Liam. Weak. I didn't raise no fairy." The words hung in the humid air like smoke from a backfire, and Liam had felt them sear into his soul. He'd always known, deep down, the way his stomach flipped at the sight of broad shoulders in the locker room, the crushes on guys who smelled like fresh-cut grass and Axe body spray. But admitting it, in Milford, Ohio, where the biggest scandal was Pastor Jenkins' affair with the choir director's wife, that was a one-way ticket to whispers and side-eyes at the county fair. The creek burbled indifferently, carrying off minnows and his dignity alike. Liam wiped his face on his sleeve, the fabric damp and salty, and pulled out his phone. No bars, fate's cruel joke. He scrolled through old texts anyway, landing on one from his mom. "Proud of you, kiddo. Home soon?" She'd been gone all week at her sister's in Cincinnati, dodging Dad's moods like always. If she knew. God, if she knew. Liam's thumb hovered over Daniel's name, the one contact that made his pulse stutter for reasons that weren't fear. They'd met 6 months back at that dive bar on the edge of town, the Rusty Nail, where Liam had gone to nurse a beer and pretend he was straight enough for the world. Daniel, tall, with that easy grin and ink-black hair that fell into his hazel eyes, had slid onto the stool next to him, ordered a whiskey neat, and said, "You look like you could use a story that doesn't end in heartbreak." They talked for hours that night, about everything and nothing. Daniel's gig as a freelance photographer chasing sunsets across the Midwest, Liam's half-assed sketches of custom hot rods he doodled on napkins at work. Daniel was from Chicago originally, but he'd bounced around after college, chasing light and freedom. "Milford's got that small-town charm," he teased. "But it's got teeth too." Liam had laughed, the first real one in weeks, and when Daniel's knee brushed his under the bar, neither pulled away. A week later, they'd kissed in the cab of Liam's beat-up Ford pickup, parked under the stars at the quarry overlook. It was clumsy, electric, Daniel's stubble scraping like sandpaper, his hands steady where Liam's shook. but they kept it quiet. Daniel crashed at motels when he was in town, and their meetups were stolen. Late-night drives to the next county over, hands intertwined over the gear shift, whispers about futures that felt too big for Milford's horizon. One day, Daniel had murmured against Liam's neck last month, breath warm and promising, "We'll get out of here. You, me, some city where no one's business is ours." Liam had believed him, or wanted to. Now, staring at the silent screen, doubt crept in like fog off the water. What if Daniel thought he was too broken, too small town, too scarred? A rustle in the underbrush snapped him alert. Probably a raccoon, but his heart jackhammered anyway. "Who's there?" he called, voice cracking. No answer, just the wind sighing through the leaves. He stood, brushing dirt from his jeans, and started the long walk home. The sun dipped low, painting the sky in bruised purples and oranges, and by the time the Harper mailbox came into view, its flag bent like a broken finger, the streetlights were flickering on. Dad's truck was gone, probably parked at O'Malley's, drowning regrets in cheap drafts. Mom's minivan sat empty in the drive. Liam slipped inside, the house smelling of fried onions and regret. He raided the fridge for a Coke, chugged half, and headed to his room, a shrine to the boy he'd pretended to be, trophies from Pee Wee League, a faded OSU poster, the closet door ajar to hide the sketchpad crammed with drawings of men who looked suspiciously like Daniel. He flopped onto the bed, scrolling Instagram instead of texting. Endless feeds of perfect lives. Jake from high school married to his high school sweetheart, posting baby pics. Tyler, the quarterback, grinding at the gym, all abs and ambition. Liam's thumb paused on a story from Daniel, a black and white shot of an abandoned barn at golden hour, caption chasing shadows in Ohio's heart. Heart. Yeah. He typed, "Rough night. Miss you." Sent. Watched the bubbles dance. Then nothing. The clock ticked past 10. 11. Sleep came in fits. Dreams tangled with Dad's voice and Daniel's laugh. Morning light sliced through the blinds like accusations, and Liam woke to the rumble of Dad's truck pulling in. He lay still, feigning snores, until the bathroom door clicked shut. Downstairs, Mom was humming in the kitchen, some old country tune about lost love. "Morning, Han," she said when he shuffled in, pouring coffee with hands that trembled just a bit. "Your dad. He mentioned you two had words." Liam grunted, slathering peanut butter on toast. "Yeah. Words." She set a plate of eggs in front of him, her eyes soft but searching, blue like his, not Dad's steel. "Liam, you know you can talk to me, right? Whatever it is." He nodded, throat tight, and bolted the food like it was armor. Work called. 8 hours of torque wrenches and oil stains at AutoZone, where his boss, Big Mike, clapped him on the back too hard and said, "Cheer up, kid. Life's too short for the blues." If only. The shift dragged, fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets. At lunch, Liam checked his phone. Daniel's reply, "Finally." "Shit, babe. Where are you?" "On my way." Relief flooded him, sweet as creek water. Daniel was back early from his shoot in Indiana. Fate, or just dumb luck. They met at the quarry after closing, the air thick with cicada song. Daniel pulled up in his battered Jeep, all smiles and camera slung over his shoulder. "Come here," he said, tugging Liam into a hug that smelled like pine and possibility. They talked, or rather, Liam spilled, curled up on a plaid blanket amid wildflowers, the quarry lake lapping at the shore. Daniel listened, fingers tracing lazy circles on Liam's arm. No judgment in those hazel eyes. "Your old man's wrong," he said finally, voice low and fierce. "You're the realest damn thing I've ever known." They kissed then, slow and deep, the world narrowing to the press of bodies and the distant hum of semis on I-75. For the first time in days, Liam breathed easy. But Milford had a way of tightening its grip. Whispers started Monday. Someone had seen them at the quarry, parked too close. By Wednesday, Jake cornered him in the parts aisle. "Heard you got a new buddy, Harper." "That true?" Liam's face burned, but he met the stare. "None of your business." Jake laughed, mean and sharp. "Just sayin'. Town like this. Watch your back." Dad heard too, of course he did. That night, the dinner table crackled like dry tinder. "Heard you been hangin' with some city slicker?" Dad grunted over meatloaf. Mom's fork paused midair. Liam's pulse thrummed. "Yeah. Friend from out of town." Dad's eyes narrowed. "Friend? Huh? Better not be nothin' funny." The unspoken hung heavy, and Liam pushed back his chair. "What if it is?" The room went tomb silent. Dad's chair scraped, face purpling. "Get out. Now." Liam grabbed his keys, stormed to the truck, tires spinning gravel as he peeled away. Destination, nowhere. Or everywhere. He ended up at the Nail again, nursing a root beer, no ID check needed for the heartbroken. The jukebox wailed Garth Brooks, and the crowd blurred into a haze of flannel and trucker hats. Then Daniel walked in, like he'd materialized from Liam's prayers, scanning the room until their eyes locked. "Drove like hell to get here," he said, sliding beside him. They didn't talk much, just leaned into each other, shoulders brushing, the bar's neon glow painting them in reds and blues. Outside, under a sky pricked with stars, Daniel stopped him. "Stay with me tonight. My motel's got a king bed and bad cable." Liam hesitated, Dad's voice echoing, but Daniel's hand on his waist was anchor enough. The room smelled of bleach and instant coffee, but it was theirs. Clothes shed in a trail to the bed, bodies mapping uncharted territory with whispers and gasps. "I love you," Daniel breathed later, as they lay tangled in sheets, moonlight slanting through the blinds. Liam's heart stuttered. Yeah. Dawn crept in like a thief, painting the motel curtains in pale gold, and Liam woke to the steady rise and fall of Daniel's chest against his back. For a heartbeat, everything felt possible, the two of them against the world, Milford a speck in the rearview. But reality knocked with the trill of his phone. "Mom. Come home. Please." He silenced it, burying his face in the pillow, but Daniel stirred, propping on an elbow. "Trouble." His voice was sleep-rough, endearing as hell. "Just family stuff." Liam rolled to face him, tracing the constellation of freckles across Daniel's nose. "Last night was epic." Daniel grinned, leaning in for a lazy kiss that tasted like toothpaste and tomorrow. They showered together, water sluicing over lean muscles and shared secrets, Daniel's hands gentle on the bruises life had left. Breakfast was vending machine granola bars and weak coffee, eaten cross-legged on the scratchy carpet, plotting escapes. "Chicago's got lofts for rent, galleries dying for fresh eyes," Daniel said, sketching apartment ads on a napkin. "You could wrench on cars by day, draw by night. We'd make it work." Liam wanted to believe it, but doubt gnawed like termites in old wood. "What if I can't?" What if I'm? He trailed off, the word broken unspoken. Daniel cupped his jaw, thumb brushing his lip. You're not. You're fire, Liam. And I'm all in. They parted with a promise. Daniel to chase a sunrise shoot near Yellow Springs, Liam to face the music at home. The drive back twisted his gut. Radio static spitting country anthems about mended fences. Mom was waiting on the porch, arms crossed, eyes red-rimmed. Your father's at work, said. Things I don't rightly understand. But he don't mean em. Liam snorted, bitter. He means every damn word. Inside, the kitchen clock ticked accusations. Mom poured tea, chamomile, her fix for everything, and sat him down. Spill it, kid. All of it. So he did. The crushes that started in middle school gym class. The fear that choked him silent. Daniel like a lifeline in the storm. She listened, tears tracking silent paths down her cheeks, then pulled him into a hug that smelled of lavender and unconditional. Oh, honey. I knew you were special. Always did. Special. Not wrong. For the first time, Liam let himself cry without shame. Dad came home reeking of motor oil and malice. Dinner a minefield of forced small talk. But the dam broke over pie, Mom, emboldened, laid it out plain. We love Liam, Tom. No matter what, Dad's fork clattered. What? You buyin' this bullshit too? He turned on Liam, voice rising. I gave you everything, taught you to throw a spiral, fix a carburetor. And you throw it back in my face with that. Liam stood, chair tipping. It's not thrown back. It's me, Dad. The real me. The slap came fast. A backhand that stung more from shock than pain, and Mom gasped, hand to mouth. Out, Dad snarled. Pack your shit and get out. Liam didn't argue. Upstairs, he shoved clothes into a duffel, jeans, tees, his sketchpad, pausing at the door to glance back at the room that had held his secrets. Downstairs, Mom pressed cash into his palm, $200 crumpled and warm from her pocket. Call me. Every day. He nodded, throat too thick for words, and hit the road as dusk fell, taillights fading like dying embers. Daniel's text lit up the dash. Son's a killer today. Meet at the creek? Liam detoured there instead of the highway, parking crooked under the willows. Daniel arrived minutes later, camera in hand, but dropped it when he saw Liam's face. Jesus, what happened? They sat on the bank, Liam recounting the exodus in halting bursts, Daniel's arm a steady weight around his shoulders. Screw him, Daniel said, fierce. You're free now. We both are. They made love there on the blanket, urgent, affirming, the creek's murmur their only witness. But freedom tasted bittersweet. Liam crashed at Daniel's motel for 2 nights, the neon sign buzzing lullabies, but reality intruded. No job, no plan, just a bank account echoing empty. Daniel's shoots paid sporadic, enough for gas and gigs, not roots. Give it time, he'd say, but worry etched lines around his eyes. On day 3, Liam landed a temp spot at a body shop in Dayton, grease under nails, overtime if he hustled. It was a start, and Daniel celebrated with takeout pizza and a bottle of cheap red, toasting to new chapters on the motel's lumpy bed. Milford's shadow lingered, though. Jake's text started, faggot. Town's talkin'. Blocked, but the poison seeped. At the shop, sidelong glances from the old-timers, whispers when he bent over an engine block. One night, post-shift, he found his truck keyed, queer slashed in jagged letters down the door. Daniel saw it first, jaw tight. "We report it." Liam shook his head. "And say what? They'll laugh us out." Instead, they drove to Columbus, seeking solace in a gay bar off High Street. Neon rainbows and bass-thumping pop, bodies moving free under strobe lights. It was magic at first. Hands on hips, stranger smiles that didn't judge. Daniel pulled him onto the floor, their rhythm syncing like they'd been born to it, sweat slick and alive. But midway through a remix of some Ariana ballad, Liam spotted him, Tyler, ex-quarterback, nursing a beer in the corner, eyes widening in recognition. "Harper," Tyler slurred, stumbling over. "No fucking way." The music swallowed the rest, but the sneer lingered. Outside, in the alley's humid dark, Tyler cornered them. "Milford trash. Huh? Wait till everyone hears." Daniel stepped forward, chest out. "Walk away, man." Tyler laughed, shoving him hard. Liam surged, fists clenched, but Daniel held him back. "Not worth it." They peeled out, hearts racing, the city's lights a blur. Back at the motel, anger boiled over into passion, rough edges softening to tenderness, Daniel's bruises blooming purple on his ribs. "I can't lose you," Liam whispered, tracing the marks. Daniel kissed his forehead. "You won't." Yet fractures formed. Daniel's next gig pulled him to Pittsburgh. 3 weeks. Urban decay through a lens. "I'll call every night," he promised. But signals faltered. Texts delayed by hours in the Allegheny Hills. Liam worked doubles, sketching late into the night, portraits of Daniel's face, fierce and fleeting. Mom snuck calls, her voice a bomb. "Your dad's coming around." Slowly, but Dad's silence roared louder. The betrayal hit like a blindside tackle. Week 2. Liam's phone buzzed with a link from an unknown number. Jake's burner. No doubt. A grainy video. Daniel, laughing in a Pittsburgh dive. Arms slung around a bearded guy, lips brushing his ear. Caption. "Loyal? Huh?" Liam's stomach plummeted. He replayed it, frame by frame, the intimacy, the ease. Daniel's texts that night were rote. "Miss you. Busy day." Lies? Or just life? Confrontation brewed. When Daniel rolled back into Milford, Liam waited at the creek, duffel packed, just in case. Daniel's Jeep crunched gravel, and he bounded out, all grins. "Babe." Traffic was. Liam thrust the phone forward. Video cued. Daniel's face drained of color. "Liam. Wait. It's not." "What?" "Not what it looks like." Voice cracking. Liam paced the bank. "I'm fighting for us, losing everything, and you're..." "What?" "Sowing wild oats." Daniel reached for him, desperate. "That guy's an old college buddy. Photographer collab." Nothing happened, but the doubt festered, fed by years of hiding, a feeling less than. "Prove it," Liam spat. Daniel's eyes flashed hurt. "I shouldn't have to." "Trust is the proof." The creek rushed on, indifferent, as Liam turned away. "Maybe I can't." He drove off, tires spitting mud, leaving Daniel silhouetted against the willows, alone. The next days blurred into a gray haze of regret and rage. Liam holing up in a Fleabag motel on Dayton's outskirts, neon vacancy sign flickering like his resolve. The body shop kept him numb, welding sparks flying, metal bending under his hammer like it owed him answers. Calls to Mom were short, Evasive. She sensed the fracture but didn't pry. Come home when you're ready, hon. Home. The word tasted like ash now. Dad's shadow too long even from afar. Daniel's texts piled up. Please. Talk to me. I swear. It was nothing. I love you. Damn it. Liam read them in the dead of night. Thumb hovering over reply. But pride or fear locked him silent. He threw himself into sketches instead. Pages filling with fractured faces. Dad's scowl. Tyler's sneer. Daniel's pleading eyes. One night, buzzed on gas station bourbon, he drove to the Rusty Nail, half hoping, half dreading a familiar face. The bar was a tomb, pool cues clacking, a lone waitress wiping rings from oak. No Daniel. Just Jake, in the corner booth, smirking over a pitcher. Harper. Lone wolf tonight. Jake's buddies chuckled, the sound like breaking glass. Liam ignored him, ordering a whiskey that burned going down. But Jake sidled up, breath sour. Heard your boys playin' the field. Smart move. Guy like that don't stick. Liam's fist clenched around the glass. Fuck off. Jake leaned in, voice oily. Nah, man. Town knows. Your dad's spittin' fire. Says he should have beat it out of you sooner. The words landed like hooks, yanking old wounds. Liam shoved back his stool, storming out into the parking lot downpour. Summer storm raging, sheets of rain blurring taillights. He didn't see the truck until it loomed, Dad's F-150 idling under the awning. Water sluiced off the hood as Dad stepped out, slicker dripping, face etched with something like contrition. Get in. Liam froze, rain plastering his shirt, but the fight drained out. They drove in silence, wipers slapping rhythm, until Dad pulled into the quarry overlook, their old spot for man talks when Liam was 12. Your mother's worried sick, Dad grunted, killing the engine. Thunder rolled distant. Liam stared out at the lake, black and churning. Yeah, you, Dad shifted, uncomfortable. I said things. Meant 'em then. Don't now. A pause, heavy as the humidity. Saw you with that fella once. At the fair. Thought it was a phase. Liam's laugh was bitter. Newsflash. It's not. Dad nodded slow, hands gripping the wheel white-knuckled. I was scared, son. Scared you'd get hurt. This town. It chews up different. Vulnerable, Dad. Vulnerable? Liam's chest cracked open. You hurt me worse. The rain hammered the roof. A confessional curtain. Dad talked then, halting, raw about his own dad. A steel mill brute who'd called him soft for crying at his dog's grave. Didn't want that for you. Wanted you strong. Liam swallowed hard. I am strong, Dad. Just not your version. They sat there, two Harpers adrift, until Dad clapped his shoulder. Tentative, then firm. Come home. We figure it out. Together. It wasn't absolution, but it was a bridge. Liam nodded, and they drove back, the cab warmer than it had been in years. Home felt tentative. Mom's hugs fierce, Dad's grunts softer. No grand speeches, just space, Liam in his old room, sketching under the desk lamp, Dad tinkering in the garage, occasionally sliding him a beer. Nice lines, he'd say, peering at a hot rod drawing, and Liam would mutter thanks, the ice thawing drop by drop. But Daniel haunted the edges, a shadow in every empty chair, every unanswered call. Liam drafted texts. I'm sorry. Let's try. Deleting them before send. Pride or self-preservation. The call came Friday. Daniel's voice wrecked. I'm outside. Liam's heart seized. Through the blinds, the Jeep, rain slicked. Daniel leaning on the hood, soaked to the bone. Dad glanced up from the TV, some Bengals rerun, and nodded. Go. Liam stepped onto the porch. Night air electric. Crickets chorusing. Daniel straightened, eyes shadowed. I can't do this without you. No games. Just truth. They walked to the swing set in the backyard, the one Dad had built when Liam was 5, chains creaking under their weight. Side by side, they swung gentle, toes dragging dirt. I overreacted, Liam admitted, voice low. The video. It hit old fears. Daniel nodded, swinging higher. And I should have shut it down sooner. But Liam, that guy's ancient history. You're my now. My always. He stopped, facing him, rain dripping from his lashes. Forgive me. Liam pulled him close, the kiss tasting of storm and second chances. Deep, unhurried, the world fading to just them. Dad watched from the window, silhouette still, then turned away with a ghost of a smile. They didn't rush inside. Instead, talked till midnight, plans solidifying. Daniel's next gig in Cleveland, Liam tagging along for a weekend, testing city air. Baby steps, Daniel said, and Liam agreed. But Milford's teeth sharpened. Saturday, at the farmer's market, Mom insisting on family normalcy. Tyler lurked by the cider stand, posse in tow. Harper's back, boys. With his tail between his legs. Laughter rippled, but Dad, stepped forward, voice like gravel. Watch your mouth, Reynolds. Or I'll shut it for you. Tyler blinked, deflating, and slunk off. Liam stared, stunned. Thanks, he whispered later, loading peaches into the truck. Dad shrugged. Family's family. The high crashed Monday. Daniel's editor called a big break. 3-month assignment in LA, shooting for a lifestyle mag. Sunsets on the Pacific, he said over diner eggs. Eyes alight. Come with? We'll couch surf. Make it an adventure. Liam's gut twisted. I can't just up and leave. Job steady now. And Dad. The word hung, new and fragile. Daniel's smile faltered. It's temporary. I come back, but the distance loomed 3,000 miles of doubt. They argued that night, motel room closing in. You're choosing him over us? Daniel accused, pacing. No, I'm choosing me. Stability, for once. Voices rose, words like shrapnel, selfish. Scared. Running. Daniel stormed out, Jeep roaring into the dark. Liam collapsed on the bed, sobs racking, alone again, the cycle spinning vicious. 2 weeks of radio silence carved hollows under Liam's eyes, sleep a fickle thief stolen by what-ifs. The body shop became sanctuary, engines purring under his hands, Big Mike's gruff attaboy a bomb. Home steadied too, dinners with tentative jokes. Dad even asking about Daniel once. Casual over burgers. That Fadig fella. He treat you right. Liam nodded, throat tight. Yeah. Mostly. Mom's garden bloomed defiant. Zinnias nodding in the breeze. And she dragged him to church, not for sermons, but the potluck after, where old ladies pressed pies into his hands and whispered, Missed you. Sugar. But the ache festered. Liam drove to the creek alone, skipping stones till his arm ached. each plunk a plea to the universe. Daniel's absence echoed in empty inboxes, the occasional X post from his feed, sun-drenched canyons. Captions cryptic, chasing light, losing shadows. Was it about them? Liam unfollowed, then refollowed. Masochistic loop. Jake's harassment peaked. A slashed tire at work. Anonymous note in the cab. Go back to your boyfriend. Freak. Dad fixed the tire silent. Tools clanging judgment on the saboteur. The breaking point came mid-September. Leaves turning amber like warning flares. Liam's birthday low-key. Mom's lasagna and a cake with too many candles. Felt like a wake without the body. Halfway through, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Video call. Heart slamming. He answered. Daniel's face filled the screen. Wind whipped on some Malibu bluff. Ocean crashing behind. Hey. Simple. Shattered. Hey. Awkward beat. Waves roaring filler. LA's. Intense. Miss the quiet. Daniel's eyes searched. Hazel stormy. Miss you. Liam's resolve cracked. Then why? I was scared too. Daniel cut in. Big break. Big pressure. Thought distance would clarify, but it just hurts. Tears pricked Liam's eyes. Come back. Please. Daniel nodded. Fierce. Flight tomorrow. Meet me at the airport. The drive to Dayton International was a blur. Billboards blurring into neon prayers. Liam paced baggage claim. Signs scrawled on cardboard. Photographer wanted. When Daniel emerged, duffel slung. Grin tentative. The hug swallowed them whole. Airport bustle fading. Idiot, Liam murmured into his neck. You're idiot, Daniel replied, kissing him soft, uncaring of stares. They detoured to the quarry. Sunset bleeding pink across the water. Blankets spread. Beers cracked. Daniel's peace offering from a corner store. I ghosted because I panicked, he confessed, lacing fingers. LA. Glitz made our thing feel small. But it's not. You're my anchor. Liam leaned in. And you're my wild. They made promises then, no more running. Weekly check-ins. A joint savings for that Chicago loft. Sex followed. Slow burn under stars. Bodies rediscovering like lost maps. Milford tested them swift. Dad invited Daniel for Sunday supper. See what the fuss is. And the table tensed like bowstring. Mom fluttered. Passing mashed potatoes. Dad grilled Daniel on everything. Chicago winters. Camera specs. Intentions with my boy. Daniel held steady. Charm disarming. Love him, sir. Plain and simple. Dad grunted approval over pie. And later, in the garage, clapped Daniel's back. Treat him right, or you'll answer to me. Progress, fragile as eggshell. But betrayal brewed deeper. October brought Jake's bachelor party. Town event at O'Malley's. Milford's underbelly spilling. Liam skipped, but Daniel, ever the peacemaker, tagged along for one drink. Hours later, Liam's phone lit. Tyler's text. Photo attached. Daniel, 3 sheets to the wind. Lips locked with a stranger in the bar's back booth. Jake set up. Obvious now, but the image seared. Told you, the caption read. Rage propelled Liam to the bar, storming through smoke and twangy guitars. Daniel spotted him first, face paling. Liam. Wait. But Liam's fist connected first. Not with Daniel, but Jake crunching nose, blood spraying. Chaos erupted, shouts, stools toppling, Big Mike hauling him off. Enough! Harper! Daniel grabbed his arm outside. Rain-slicked lot. It wasn't, he kissed me. I pushed him off. Liam wrenched free. Bullshit. Again. Sirens wailed distant. Cops en route. Daniel's eyes pleaded. Trust me. Like before. But the photo mocked. Doubt a venom flood. I can't. Liam choked. Not anymore. He drove home alone. Knuckles split. Heart in shards. Dad waited on the porch. Ice pack ready, no lecture. Just sit. They shared a smoke in silence. Dad's first in years. Love's a battlefield, son. Pick your shots. Daniel's calls went to voicemail. His motel key turned in empty locks. A week later, a knock shattered the dawn. Front door. Insistent. Liam yanked it open. Breath catching. Daniel. Duffel at feet. Eyes ring dark. I'm done running. But if you're done, I'll go. Behind him, Jake's truck idled. Face bandaged. But Daniel waved him off. Not his fight. Liam stepped aside. Door creaking invitation. They talked till noon. Coffee cooling untouched. Daniel sighed. The setup. The shove. The regret. Liam's, the terror of loss. The scar tissue. I betrayed us by doubting, Liam admitted. Daniel nodded. And I by not fighting harder. Forgiveness came tentative. Sealed with a kiss that tasted like homecoming. November winds stripped Milford bare. Leaves skittering like secrets across Elm Street. And Liam and Daniel rebuilt brick by stubborn brick. No grand gestures. Just mornings tangled in Daniel's motel sheets. Liam's sketches pinned to corkboard walls. Plans sketched on napkins over Waffle House hash. Dad's thaw deepened. A Cardinals cap for Daniel at the game. Company man, he grumbled. But eyes twinkled. Mom baked Daniel's favorite apple crisp, whispering recipes like dowry. Even the town edges softened. Jake slunk apologies via text. Tyler faded to irrelevance. But scars itched. Daniel's L.A. offer lingered. A siren call. 1 month. He proposed over Thanksgiving turkey. Family table groaning. You come weekends. We test the waters. Liam chewed slow. Dad's gaze heavy. What about here? Mom squeezed his hand. Roots bend. Honey. Don't break. Dad cleared throat. Go. See the world. Just come back. Permission. Profound. They flew out December 1st. Liam's first time airborne. Clouds like cotton. L.A. Sprawling golden below. Daniel's crash pad was a Venice Beach walk-up. Surf crashing symphony. Walls lined with prints of their creek. Their quarry. Days blurred magic. Hikes in Griffith Park. Daniel's lens capturing Liam's laugh against Hollywood sign. Nights in WeHo bars. Hands free under rainbow flags. Dancing till dawn. This could be us, Daniel murmured. Bodies swaying to synth pop. Liam believed it. Pulse sinking to the city's hum. Yet homesickness nipped. Ohio's quiet calling. Dad's voicemail's gruff. Bengals won. Wish you saw. Weekends stretched thin. Flights draining savings. The fracture reappeared subtle. Daniel's late nights schmoozing editors. Liam sketching alone. City noise a cacophony. One rain-lashed evening. Argument flared over takeout tie. You're pulling away, Liam accused. Chopsticks clattering. Daniel sighed. Defeated. Work's intense. But you're my why. Makeup sex was fierce. Reaffirming. But doubt whispered. The real storm hit mid-month. Daniel's editor pitched permanence, staff gig, benefits, the dream. Over rooftop tacos, skyline glittering, he broached it tentative. What if we stay? Liam's fork paused, heart plummeting. And Milford? Your shoot's there. Daniel's eyes pleaded. We build new routes. You could find shop work, freelance art. But Liam saw the trap. Trading family mending for coastal gloss. Repeating the run. I can't, he said, voice steady. Not without losing me. Hurt flashed raw, reciprocal. So I'm the loss now? Daniel's voice cracked. After everything? The rooftop emptied, rain sheeting, as Liam stood. No. We're the everything. But home's calling us back. Daniel nodded slow, tears mingling with downpour. Then we go. Together. Flight home was quiet, hands clasped over armrests, resolutions unspoken. Milford welcomed gray-skied, Mom's stew steaming on the stove. Dad hugged Daniel awkward, one-armed, proud. They settled into rhythm. Daniel's freelance steady from home base, Liam's promotion at the shop to lead tech. Evenings, porch swings creaking, sharing dreams over stargaze skies. Spring bloomed defiant, dogwoods pink against blue, Milford's annual fair in full swing. Liam and Daniel strolled midway, cotton candy sticky-fingered, Ferris wheel lights winking promise. Jake nodded distant truce. Pastor Jenkins even shook Daniel's hand at the beer tent. Up top, gondola swaying gentle, Daniel pulled a velvet box, simple band, silver etched with coordinates. Their creak. Not forever yet, he said, slipping it on. But always starting now. Liam's yes was a kiss, breathless, the world below a carnival blur. Dad watched from the crowd, Mom beside, her smile wet. Told you, she whispered. He grunted. Stubborn like me, years folded like well-worn maps. Chicago Loft realized. Daniel's exhibits featuring Midwest Hearts series. Liam's face immortalized in light and shadow. Milford visits ritual. Dad's pride swelling at grandkids. Adopted. Rowdy. Mom's garden Liam's now. Zinnia's thriving. Betrayal's faded scars. Conflicts to campfire tales. Love, they learned, wasn't absence of storm, but dancing in it, soaked and unbroken. One July Eve. Back at the creek, willows wiser, water clearer. Liam traced Daniel's ring, sun dipping low. Worth the knock, Daniel grinned, pulling him close. Every damn one, they kissed. Timeless, the current carrying forward. Real men, real love, real enough.